The immediate universe exists. It is not awaiting realization. This is Buddhist Books Podcast, episode 269, Zen Buddhism, part 8, in which we will continue reading from Dogen's Shobogenzo, picking up right where we left off last time. But first, I'm going to put on my reading glasses so that I can read it. Hope everybody's doing well. Been looking forward to this. This should be more interesting than than Zen Buddhism Part 7. By the way, if you would like to start at the beginning of Zen Buddhism, there's a reaction where I watch and react to a movie in 2009 called Zen about Eihei Dōgen, who's the guy who wrote or spoke this back in the 1200s. So if you click the playlist, you can watch that, or there's a few other things that got the Zen playlist started. That when Zen Buddhism 4 came around was when I decided to repurpose those first 3 as episodes 1 through 3 of the Zen Buddhism playlist here on Buddhist Books Podcast. Anyway, that playlist is here. Okay, continuing, today we're going to be reading Soku-Shin-Ze-Butsu, which is translated as Mind Here and Now is Buddha. Soku means here and now. Shin means mind. Ze means is. Butsu means Buddha. The principle of Soku, by the way, this is the translators Gudu Nishijima and Chodo Cross speaking. I haven't gotten to the part where we're reading the translation of Dogen yet. It's just explaining what we're about to read. Soku-Shin-Ze-Butsu, or Mind Here and Now is Buddha, is very famous in Buddhism. But many people have interpreted the principle to support the beliefs of naturalism. They say if our mind here and now is just Buddha, our conduct must always be right, and in that case, we need not make any effort to understand or to realize Buddhism. However, this interpretation is a serious mistake. The principle Soku-Shin-Ze-Butsu, mind here and now is Buddha, must be understood not from the standpoint of the intellect, but from the standpoint of practice. In other words, the principle does not mean belief in something spiritual called mind, but it affirms the time now and the place here as reality itself. This time and place must always be absolute and right, and so we can call them the truth, or Buddha. In this chapter, Master Dogen explained this meaning of Soku-Shin-Ze-Butsu, or mind here and now is Buddha. Well, thanks for the spoilers, guys. Next time, we'll read the text first. Never mind. Now we're reading Dogen's Soku-Shin-Ze-Butsu. Here we go. What every Buddha and every patriarch has maintained and relied upon, without exception, is just mind here and now is Buddha. Many students, however, misunderstand that mind here and now is Buddha did not exist in India, but was first heard in China. As a result, they do not recognize their mistake as a mistake. Because they do not recognize the mistake as a mistake, many fall down into non-Buddhism. When stupid people hear or talk of mind here and now is Buddha, they interpret that ordinary beings' intellect and sense perception, which have never established the Bodhi mind, are just Buddha. This derives from never having met a true teacher. The reason I say that they become non-Buddhists is that there was a non-Buddhist in India called Seneca, whose viewpoint is expressed as follows. Here's Seneca's viewpoint from here until a while from now. So don't forget, if you hear me talking after this moment, that's not Dogen saying what he thinks. It's him quoting someone who's a non-Buddhist named Seneca. Moving forward. The great truth exists in our own body now, so we can easily recognize its situation. In other words, bracket parentheses, a spiritual intelligence, end bracket parentheses, distinguishes between pain and pleasure, naturally senses cold and warmth, and recognizes discomfort and irritation. The spiritual intelligence is neither restricted by myriad things nor connected with circumstances. Things come and go, and circumstances arise and pass. But the spiritual intelligence always remains, unchanging. This spiritual intelligence is all around, pervading all souls, common and sacred, without distinction. In its midst, illusory flowers in space exist for the time being, but when momentary insight has appeared, and things have vanished, and circumstances have disappeared, then the spiritual intelligence, the original essence, alone is clearly recognizable, peaceful, and eternal. Though the physical form may be broken, the spiritual intelligence departs unbroken. Just as when a house burns down in a fire, the master of the house leaves. This perfectly clear and truly spiritual presence is called, quote, the essence of perception and intelligence, end quote. It is also described as Buddha and called enlightenment. It includes both the subject and the object, and it permeates both delusion and enlightenment. So, let the myriad dharmas and all circumstances be as they are. The spiritual intelligence does not coexist with circumstances, and it is not the same as things. It abides constantly through passing kalpas. We might also call the circumstances that exist in the present real, insofar as they derive from the existence of the spiritual intelligence. Because they are conditions arising from the original essence, they are real things. Even so, they are not eternal as the spiritual intelligence is, for they exist and then vanish. The spiritual intelligence is unrelated to brightness and darkness because it knows spirituality. We call this the spiritual intelligence, and we also call it the true self. We call it the basis of awakening. We call it original existence. And we call it original substance. Someone who realizes this original essence is said to have returned to eternity, and is called a great man who has come back to the truth. After this, he no longer wanders through the cycle of life and death. He experiences and enters the essential ocean, where there is neither appearance nor disappearance. There is no reality other than this, but as long as this essence has not emerged, the three worlds and the 6 states are said to arise in completion. That's the end of Seneca talking, as quote, paraquoted, or whatever by Dogen. Okay. Then this is the view of the non-Buddhist Seneca. This, then, is the view of the non-Buddhist Seneca. Master Echu, National Master Daisho. I feel like I shouldn't be skipping all these footnotes. The three worlds, the triple world, the world of volition, matter, and the immaterial. Oh, I always assumed it was past, present, and future. The six miserable states are the states of hell, hungry ghosts, animals, demons, human beings, and gods. Oh, angry demons. I think sometimes they're called demigods, right? And then successor to Master Daikon Eno, National Master Daisho was his title as teacher of the emperor. Okay. So then the emperor's teacher. So National Master Daisho, Master Echu, of the great kingdom of Tong, asks a monk, quote, "From which direction have you come?" End quote. The monk says, quote, "I have come from the south," end quote. The master says, quote, "What good counselors are there in the south?" End quote. The monk says, quote, "Good counselors are very numerous." End quote. The master says, quote, "How do they teach people?" End quote. The monk says, quote, "The good counselors of that quarter teach students directly that mind here and now is Buddha. Buddha means consciousness itself. You are now fully endowed with the essence of seeing, hearing, awareness, and recognition. This essence is able to raise the eyebrows and to wink, to come and go, to move and act. It pervades the body, so that when something touches the head knows it, and when something touches the foot knows it. Therefore it is called the true all-pervading intelligence. Apart from this, there is no Buddha at all. The body must appear and disappear, but the mental essence has never appeared or disappeared since the limitless past. The appearance and disappearance of the body is like a dragon changing its bones, a snake shedding its skin, or a person moving out of an old house. This body is inconsistent. The essence is constant. What they teach in the South is, for the most part, like this." End quote. The master says, quote, "If it is so, they are no different from the non-Buddhist Seneca." He said, quote, so this is quote within quotes, the Dogen is telling the story in which the master is now quoting Seneca, right? Quote within quotes. "In our body there is a single spiritual essence. The essence can recognize pain and irritation. When the body decays, the spirit departs. Just as when a house is burning, the master departs. The master of the house departs. The house is inconstant. The master of the house is constant." End quote within quotes. The master continues, "When I examine people like this, they do not know the false from the true. How can they decide what is right? When I was on my travels, I often saw this kind. Recently, they are very popular. They gather assemblies of 300 or 500 people, and, eyes gazing towards the heavens, they say, quote, 'This is the fundamental teaching of the South,' end quote. They take the Platform Sutra and change it." What is the Platform Sutra? The Platform Sutra of the Sixth Patriarch's Dharma Treasure is a collection of the preachings of Master Daikon Eno, the sixth patriarch in China, and the master of Nanyo Echu. Editor Edward, could you see if you can find those like on Amazon or whatever? Okay, cool. Continuing. They take the Platform Sutra and change it, mixing in folk stories and erasing its sacred meaning. They delude and disturb recent students. How could this, remember this is the master in the story talking, the national master talking. How could theirs be called the spoken teaching? How painful it is that our religion is being lost. If seeing, hearing, awareness, and recognition could be equated with the Buddha nature, Vimalakirti, would not have said, quote, "The Dharma is transcendent over seeing, hearing, awareness, and recognition." When we use seeing, hearing, awareness, and recognition, it is only seeing, hearing, awareness, and recognition. It is not pursuit of the Dharma. And quote within quotes, end quote, because in Dogen's story that he's telling, the master is telling the monk, and he's quoting Vimalakirti, right? So, continuing. This is Dogen talking. The national master is an excellent disciple of the eternal Buddha of Soke. That's Master Daikane, okay? He is a great good counselor in heaven above and in the human world. We should clarify the fundamental teachings set forth by the national master and regard it as criterion for learning in practice. Do not follow what you know to be the viewpoint of the non-Buddhist Seneca. Among those of recent generations who subsist as masters of mountains in the great kingdom of Sung, there may be no one like the national master. From the ancient past, no counselors to equal the national master would have ever manifested themselves in the world. Nevertheless, people of the world mistakenly think that even Rinzai and Tokuzan might equal the national master. Only people who think like this are great in number. It is a pity that there are no teachers with clear eyes. This mind here and now is Buddha that the Buddhist patriarchs maintain and rely upon is not seen by non-Buddhists and people of the two vehicles, even in their dreams. Buddhist patriarchs alone, together with Buddhist patriarchs, possessing hearing, action, and experience, which have enacted and which have perfectly realized, mind here now is Buddha. Buddhas have continued to pick up and throw away hundreds of weeds, but they have never represented themselves as a 16-foot golden body. There's a footnote on 16-foot golden body. The 16-foot golden body is an idealized image of the Buddha. Okay. The immediate universe exists. It is not awaiting realization. Oh, that's a nice line. Let's read that again for the intro. The immediate universe exists. It is not awaiting realization. All right, I think that was pretty good. Let's continue. And it is not avoiding destruction. This concrete triple world exists. It is neither receding nor appearing, and it is not just mind. Mind exists as fences and walls. It never gets muddy or wet. And it is never artificially constructed. We realize in practice that mind here and now is Buddha. We realize in practice that the mind which is Buddha is this. We realize in practice that mind actually is just the mind. We realize in practice that mind and Buddha, here and now, is right. And we realize in practice that this Buddha mind is here and now. Realization in practice like this is just mind here and now and Buddha. Mind here and now is Buddha, picking itself up and authentically transmitting itself to mind here and now is Buddha. Authentically transmitted like this, it has arrived at present day. The mind that has authentically transmitted means one mind as all dharmas, and all dharmas as one mind. For this reason, a man of old said, quote, "When a person becomes conscious of the mind, there is not an inch of soil on the earth." A person of old, Master Chore Shotaku. His words mean that to know the mind is just to know reality, in which an inch of soil cannot be separated from the whole earth. Okay. Remember, when we become conscious of the mind, the whole of heaven falls down, and the whole ground is torn apart. Or, in other words, when we become conscious of the mind, the earth grows 3 inches thicker. The ancient patriarch said, quote, which ancient patriarch? Master Isan Ryu asked the question to his disciple. Okay. Quote, "What is fine, pure, and bright mind? It is mountains, rivers, and the earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars." End quote. Clearly, mind is mountains, rivers, and the earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars. But what these words say is when we are moving forward, not enough, and when we are drawing back, too much. Mind as mountains, rivers, and the earth is nothing other than mountains, rivers, and the earth. There is no additional waves or surf, no wind or smoke. Mind as the sun, the moon, and the stars is nothing other than the sun, the moon, and the stars. There is no additional fog or mist. Mind as living and dying, coming and going, is nothing other than living and dying, coming and going. There is no additional delusion or realization. Mind as fences, walls, tiles, and pebbles is nothing other than fences, walls, tiles, and pebbles. There is no additional mud or water. Mind as the 4 elements and 5 aggregates is nothing other than the 4 elements and 5 aggregates. There is no additional horse or monkey. Mind as a chair or a whisk is nothing other than a chair or a whisk. There is no additional bamboo or wood. Because the state is like this, mind here and now is Buddha, is untainted. Mind here and now is Buddha. All Buddhas are untainted Buddhas. This being so, mind here and now is Buddha, is the Buddhas themselves, who establish the will, undergo training, realize Bodhi, and experience nirvana. If we have never established the will, undergone training, realized Bodhi, and experienced nirvana, then the state is not mind here and now, is Buddha. If we establish the mind and do practice and experience, even in a single kasana, represents the Sanskrit kasana moment. 65 kasanas are said to pass in the click of a fingers, so it's a very short amount of time. Okay. This is mind here and now is Buddha. If we establish the will and do practice and experience in a single molecule, this is mind here and now is Buddha. If we establish the will and do practice and experience in countless kalpas, kalpa's a long time, this is mind here and now is Buddha. If we establish the will and do practice and experience in one instant of consciousness, this is mind here and now is Buddha. If we establish the will and do practice experience inside half a fist, this is mind here and now is Buddha. To say, on the contrary, that undergoing training to become Buddha for long kalpas is not mind here and now is Buddha, is never to have seen, never to have known, and never to have learned mind here and now is Buddha. The term Buddhas means Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha is just mind here and now is Buddha. When all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future become Buddhas, they inevitably become Shakyamuni Buddha. That is mind here and now. is Buddha. Shobogenzo Soku-Shin-Ze-Butsu preached to the assembly at Kannon Dori Kosho Horinji Temple in the Uji district of Yoshu on the 25th day of the 5th lunar month in the first year of Enno, which means 1239, and is present-day Kyoto Prefecture. All right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that. And if you have the phrase "mind here and now is Buddha" repeating in your mind and thoughts to one degree or another today or tomorrow, you're welcome. I hope that I do too. I always enjoy Shobogenzo. Perhaps for people these days who would identify as following a Zen path, if they were interested in calibrating or just checking in with kind of the earliest authentic definition of Zen as opposed to Chan. If you're thinking Japanese Zen, this is when the Chan hit the Japan and became Zen. This was the moment. And the words were, hey, don't think like the non-Buddhist Seneca. Well, how should I think? Think like the national master. Well, anyway, you heard it. Yeah, seems good. Yeah, don't forget to do the work. Do a bit of yoga, meditation, maybe a bit of study, a bit of working on, moving toward non-attachment. Okay, well, I hope that everybody has a wonderful week, and I will go ahead and do the usual closing. To the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us and to the spirits below, we send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Until next time.